Hello and welcome back to the Red Path. As this is the holiday episode, I thought that instead of keeping the Christ in Christmas, I'd put the Mass in mass slaughter. So today my gift to you is the greatest gift of all. Cheese. Over the last few weeks I've been trying to finagle the most out of the World Eaters as we carry on through the early stages of 9th edition, and let's be honest, there isn't much juice there to squeeze. Outside of stock party bus spam, we only have a few plays that aren't particularly powerful, so I've been trying to maximise our tactical acumen and helping develop our abilities and resources as commanders. But a couple of videos in particular, last weekend's second look at the fight phase, and an earlier video on the top 3 competitive plays for World Eaters, well, they got me to thinking about some absurd buffs we could stack. First, I need to caveat what follows. 1. It's probably never going to be necessary to use. 2. It would be incredibly difficult to pull this off full tilt. 3. Even if it was pulled off, the payoff isn't likely to be worth the investment. And 4. The required optimum unit just got relegated to Legends, so blah. But anyway, let's get on with it. Here's what you need. 1. A World Eater's detachment of any sort, preferably with a Disco Lord Warlord with violent urgency. And 2. Zoofor the Impaler in a separate Skull Taker's detachment with a Chaos Sorcerer. So what do you get for this? Well, you get 64 inches of movement on Zoofor the Impaler. Why? Who cares? How? Well, here's how. First, you have to upgrade Zoofor with Red Butchers for 2 CP. Being a Skull Taker unlocks a couple of important components. 1. As a Renegade chapter, it must use the Dark Raiders trait, which grants advance and charge. 2. It allows the Sorcerer to be brought, accessing warp time. Next, you need to note that Zoofor has both the Skull Taker and World Eater's faction keywords. This means that even though he is part of one or the other detachment, Skull Takers in this case, he can still be affected by any ability or stratagem that would affect the other. He doesn't lose that which he isn't using. Yep, Forge World jank, everybody. So even though he's a Skull Taker, he can still use Red Butchers and can still be affected by any World Eater stratagems which are unlocked because you have a World Eater's detachment. But as a Skull Taker, in a Skull Taker detachment, he advances and charges. Confusing and broken, but entirely legal. By now you probably have an idea of where this is going, but let me just lay it all out for you. Step 1. Move the Disco Lord up the table, but ensure that Zoofor is still within his 6-inch aura. Step 2. Zoofor advances for 5 plus d6 plus 1, and we're going to assume all 6s here, so that's 12 inches. The Sorcerer of course uses warp time, and as Zoofor is still within that 6-inch bubble, this is the reason we use a Disco Lord because of the large base and that 6-inch bubble is increased significantly. He again adds plus 1 to advance, so that's another 12 inches. So we're at 24 inches right now, at the end of the Psychic phase. Ignore the shooting phase. Let's go on to the charge phase. Let's charge Disco in first to put Zoofor back in his friendly aura of hugs, and then charge Zoofor for 12 plus 1 for another 13 inches. Right now at the end of the charge phase we're at 37 inches of movement. Now we get to pile in and consolidate, so that's another 6 inches, right? Wrong, it's 9 inches because we're going to play Kill Main Burn for 1 CP which grants 6 inches of consolidation. Cool, 46 inches of movement is pretty damn badass. Step 6. I didn't forget Red Butchers, which grants another fight activation and the potential for another 6 inches of movement. Sorry, another 9 inches of movement. Bumping the Impaler up to 55 now. And step 7, one last play, Fury of Khorne. At the end of the fight phase for 3 CP, giving us one last sprint to the tape for another 9 inches, totaling up 64 inches of movement in one turn. What's the point of this, you may be asking? Hell if I know. People run marathons, for God's sake. Don't expect me to explain the mysteries of the universe with that sort of foolishness going on. Honestly, it started as a bit of a thought experiment, and for a few moments I thought I'd legit found the fastest infantry model in the game. But it turns out Creations of Bile Jump Lord can get over 70 inches in a turn. But hell, that loses on the jump pack, whilst our hard-working Berserker Lord is slogging it out in tactical dreadnought armour. Typical Silliness taking the easy way. Anyway folks, this was just supposed to be a quick video just in time for the holidays. Just to let you know, I might have to skip this weekend's video, it is Christmas weekend. I'm not 100% sure. but with the hours I've been having to pull at work and all the COVID stuff going on still, it's hard to stay on schedule, but I'll do what I can. Whatever happens, I hope you all have a great holiday no matter what you celebrate, and stay healthy, stay safe, and kill Main Bird.